How many types of contractions do you know? Normally, when we read physiology, we read about isometric contraction, isotonic contraction. There are a few more types of contraction that we should be aware of. Let's understand these contractions one by one. First, isometric contraction. Before we understand these types, let's just quickly see what is meant by muscle contraction. What happens in the muscle when it is contracting? Contraction means two things. When a muscle is contracting, there are two things happening in the muscle. A, there is tension development, and B, there is shortening of the muscle. So when we say muscle contracts, there are two things happening. Tension is generated in the muscle and there is shortening of the muscle. So then, what is isometric contraction? Isometric, length remaining the same, isometric. So that means there is no shortening of the muscle. That means, what is the other thing that can happen in the muscle? Tension is developed in the muscle. So therefore, isometric contraction means only tension development, no shortening. No shortening means no change of length remaining the same. That's isometric contraction. When does this contraction happen? Imagine this. Let's take an example. If we are lifting a very heavy load with biceps, lift the load and just try to lift it further, try to contract the biceps. Initially, because it's a very heavy load, the load does not move from its place. Only tension develops in the muscle. If you imagine, you will do well to understand that first, only tension develops in the muscle. But there is no shortening. Load does not get displaced from its place, just the tension gets developed. So that only tension development part is the isometric contraction, isometric tension development. Second type of contraction is isotonic contraction. So, isotonic means tension will remain the same. Whatever tension was built up will remain the same, and for that tension now there will be muscle shortening. Shortening of the muscle will occur. Tension will not change. Tension will remain the same. So that means, remember, whenever we are lifting a very heavy load, first part of the contraction will be isometric. That means only tension will develop in the muscle. And that tension, when it is good enough to displace the load from its place, then the next part of contraction will be isotonic contraction. So, a few things to be further explained, that no contraction is purely isometric or purely isotonic. Particularly when we are lifting a load with a muscle, it's a combination of isometric and isotonic contractions, and first part of that contraction would be always isometric contraction, isometric tension development. And then once a certain tension develops, then that tension will remain the same and the muscle shortening will happen. That part would be isotonic contraction. So that's the muscle contraction types. And most important part, the work is done only during isotonic contraction. Work done is during isotonic contraction. No work is done during isometric contraction. Why? The reason is obvious. It is the isotonic contraction which is displacing the load, and therefore, and what's work done? Load into displacement. So therefore, Work is done only during isotonic contraction. No work done during isometric contraction. Only heat is generated during isometric contraction. So that's the difference, or that's a comparison between isometric and isotonic. But the point is, always remember, contraction means two things: tension development in the muscle and muscle shortening. When muscle shortens, it displaces the load from its place, and therefore isotonic contraction, when there is muscle shortening, it would perform the work done during isotonic contraction. Let's see some more types of contractions. Auxotonic contraction. What is auxotonic contraction? As the contraction proceeds, strength of contraction goes on increasing. This type of contraction is called as auxotonic contraction. And mind you, we are talking about one single contraction. We are not talking about multiple contractions, just one single contraction. As the contraction proceeds, the strength of contraction goes on increasing. Such contraction is called as auxotonic contraction. What's the basis of this? The basis is recruitment of the motor unit. Even for one single contraction, this principle holds true. Recruitment of the motor units. You know what is a motor unit? One single motor neuron, its branches, and all the muscle fibers supplied by it forms one single motor unit. And a muscle may have 2, 10, 20 motor units comprising of different number of muscle fibers. So as the contraction proceeds, that one single contraction, initially it was weak and then it became stronger and stronger as it proceeds. How is that possible? Because more and more motor units, that means more and more muscle fibers, get recruited in the process of contraction. And how is that possible? That's because cortex realizes that the contraction needs to be stronger, and therefore cortex sends signals to the lower motor neuron and recruits more and more motor units, more and more muscle fibers into contraction. So contraction goes on increasing. One parallel example of this auxotonic contraction is in the heart. It is left ventricular systolic ejection. This is auxotonic contraction. Why? Because left ventricle pumps the blood into the aorta with during the systole. Now see, what happens is that as the blood fills into the aorta pressure is going to rise, and therefore the further and further outflow of the blood will be resisted. I mean, there will be resistance for the further ejection, because blood is now coming into the aorta with the start of ejection. So as the blood is filled here, the resistance will be there for the further ejection, and that means left ventricle will have to increase its strength of contraction in order to overcome that resistance and continue to eject the blood during that systolic ejection period. So left ventricle has to increase its strength of contraction as the systole proceeds, and therefore it can be called as auxotonic contraction. Mind you, motor unit principle does not apply here. There are no motor units in the cardiac muscle or in the heart, but left ventricle can recruit, I mean, more and more fibers. They are connected with gap junctions, they can be recruited, and they can come into contraction, and there can be increased strength of contraction. So that's auxotonic contraction, example in the cardiac muscle as well. Next type of contraction is myotonic contraction. We know what is myo, as in meiosis is reduction division, meiotic division is. So myo means reducing, and that therefore myotonic contraction means reducing strength of contraction. As the contraction proceeds, there is decreasing strength of contraction. That's called as myotonic contraction. So this is exactly opposite of oxytonic contraction, where strength went on increasing. This is, as the contraction proceeds, the strength of contraction goes decreasing. Which means what? It means in the first part of contraction, most of the work was done. So later part need not be that stronger, and therefore the contraction strength goes decreasing beyond that, after the initial strength. Such contractions are called as myotonic contractions. So fibers recruitment can stop after initial contraction strength. In the heart, there can be a parallel to this myotonic contraction. Atrial systole is myotonic contraction. We can call it myotonic contraction. Why? Because this atrial systole 0.1 second is of two parts. First 0.05 second is called as dynamic atrial systole. The contraction is stronger and most of the fibers are contracting and majority of the blood is pumped from atria to ventricles in this first half. And then the later half becomes weak. It's called as adynamic atrial systole. Remember, I am talking about that 0.1 second only, the atrial systole length. So later half is called as adynamic atrial systole. Contraction became weak and less number of fibers contracting. Contraction strength went decreasing. That's myotonic contraction. A few more contraction types. Concentric versus eccentric contractions. Concentric and eccentric contraction. For this to understand, we must first understand that muscle has always some amount of tension present in it. Even if it is completely relaxed, there is some tension in it, and that means there is some amount of contraction which is always there in the muscle, some amount of tension which is always there in the muscle, even if it is completely relaxed. Now with that in mind, let's try to understand this. If I am lifting a load with biceps, there is flexion at the elbow, bicep is contracting, fine. This contraction of the bicep, when bicep is contracting and flexion at the elbow happening, this is called as concentric contraction of the bicep. And when there is extension of the elbow joint, bicep is actually relaxing, or when there is extension of the elbow joint, this will be called as eccentric contraction of the bicep. So concentric contraction when the elbow is flexing and the bicep is concentrically contracting, and eccentric contraction of the bicep when elbow is extending. That's an example of concentric versus eccentric contraction, because tension is always there in the bicep, whether there is flexion of the elbow or extension of the elbow. Even in completely relaxed state, there is some amount of tension always there in the muscle. So some amount of contraction is always there, whether it is concentrically going and shortening of the muscle, or it is lengthening and going eccentrically. Based on that tension is either concentric or eccentric. Remember this terminology is used for weight lifters and power lifters. When you are lifting the weights, it's always advised by the trainers that you must focus on the eccentric contraction of the muscle. It is said that eccentric contractions, they are helpful in developing the muscle bulk faster. There is muscle hypertrophy, it would occur faster with eccentric. So they ask you to concentrate on the eccentric contractions of the muscles. These are the types of contractions. One last type is isovolumic contraction. We know this in the case of heart, in the case of cardiac cycle. Isovolumic, previously called as isometric contraction in the heart, in the ventricle, or isovolumetric contraction or isovolumic contraction. So what is isovolumic contraction? Volume remains the same. What happens is at the start of the ventricular systole, ventricular pressure becomes more than the atrial pressure, and therefore AV valves close. Now imagine this is a left ventricle. It is going to pump the blood into the aorta. This is the AV valve, the mitral valve between left atrium and left ventricle. So when ventricular pressure becomes more than the atrial pressure, the mitral valve will close, but ejection cannot start because aortic valve has not yet opened. Why the aortic valve has not yet opened? Because left ventricular pressure, although it is increasing, it's a systole, but it has not become greater or more than the aorta pressure. Aorta pressure is still more than the left ventricular pressure. Left ventricular pressure has not become more than the aorta pressure. So this aortic valve has not yet opened. That means aortic valve is closed and this AV valve or the mitral valve is also closed, and left ventricle is contracting like a closed. I'm talking about left ventricle. It's applicable to both ventricles, of course, right and left ventricle. We have only taken one side. So left ventricle is contracting isovolumetrically or isovolumically because both valves are closed and left ventricle is contracting like a closed chamber, so blood cannot go anywhere. That's isovolumic contraction. And even in the ventricular diastole, there would be isovolumic relaxation when both valves are closed in front of the chamber, and therefore blood volume cannot change. So that's one more type of contraction just to add in the series of contractions.